until we get there. We will keep trying, and I know eventually we will be there. And that is the point. The point is to go forward knowing that what is for you is for you. Go forward knowing I'm in the right space at the right time. And I entitled this, Get Your Butt Motivated, because sometimes we just need some motivation. Sometimes we just need that little push, especially in the morning. And it's important because, what's up, Boss Man 2041? You get to see me earlier today because I woke up and I said, Hope, speak early today. I see Benjamin Lewis just joined. There's that beauty of feeling something and acting on it, not questioning it. And I decided to come on to give some words of motivation to get us started. And I'm inspired because a friend of mine is completing their citizen test today, and they are becoming a U.S. citizen. And most people don't even have to think about this because we already are. And I am. I don't, I'm on just for you, boss man. And the beauty of what that means. And here's why. I've shared, my father was a pilot in the Army in the Vietnam War, and he was also a flight instructor. I carry pride because of that, because I know what that takes, and I knew what he had to endure to accomplish that. I'm so happy to see those two smiley faces, Bossman 2041. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I carry that legacy with me. I carry that legacy with me. I carry that strength with me. And often we forget who came before us. We just believe we are it and that's it. You have to know great people have came before you. Great people have put in time and hard work and made difficult decisions so you can live slightly easier. But more so, there are people that will come behind you. And it's always that belief of getting that much closer. And closer to what? You get to define what that is. But getting closer, believing more, opening one more door, going one more step, adding one more room, adding one more cent, just adding. And I'm here to remind you that you add something. You add something. Maybe you're adding something to someone's life. Maybe you're adding something to your place of business. Maybe you're just adding because you know I'm accomplishing every time I show up. But remember that you add. You are an addition. And on my live last night, we were speaking of sometimes it gets hard, but so what? Do you want to be that person that said, I did not do because it was difficult? Or are you choosing to be the person that's saying, I'm going? I am the one that says I'm going because I want the glory of the final win. And it's all in our vision. It's all in our vision of ourselves. And before I got up this morning, which Bossman 2041 did say, you're up early, which I am. I am. And I chose to say, you know what, if I'm up, let me go through my morning routine. Let me go ahead and journal and meditate and visualize. Visualize my day, visualize my future, visualize what I want, and get out of bed. That takes something to be able to say, I'm getting up instead of I'm going to lay in the bed or try to go back to sleep for a few hours. And that's simply because I know there's something in it for me today. And the fact that I got up early means maybe there's some beauty in the day that I have to reach. Maybe someone needs to see this smile today. Maybe someone needs to hear me say, Today's going to be great. Think about the best case scenario for today. What would make today great? What would make today unlike yesterday? What would enable you to feel better in this day instead of just believing that it's just another day? I'm just going to go to work. I don't like these people. I got traffic. It's cold outside. Like I'm wasting away. What would that look like? What would that be? Because see it and feel it. And I say that because sometimes you got to trick yourself out of your own condition. Meaning whatever's going on now doesn't mean that it will always be like this. But that vision to see something bigger and grander within yourself may be what you need to continue. And I do that every day. I do that every single day because I need that push, even if it's just the vision in my mind. But you gotta push yourself to show up differently. Again, me coming on earlier is just reinforcing the fact that things are happening. Things are happening positively. Whatever you're worried about, choose to see it work out in your favor. Because the more that you just envision the worst thing happening, you're already programming yourself for the worst. I'm not doing that. I'm only going to program myself for what I want. I'm only going to see what I want. I'm only going to expect what I want. Otherwise, I don't want it. And the sun is just coming out. It just struck 8:01, and I'm inspired because I made a different choice today. And it will take making a different choice to show up differently. Yes, Michael Lattimore, happy to read your comments across the screen. I don't say good to see you because I'm not seeing you, but I'm seeing the comments that you just dropped into the chat, and I appreciate it. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for liking the live as I drink my tea. So what can you accomplish today that will bring you joy? For me, it's this. For me, it's the fact that I got up early and I'm here. So I already feel a sense of inspiration. But push yourself for more out of this day. Push yourself for more out of yourself. Because if you don't, you just get the same results. And if you want the same results, then I think that's a great way to go. But if you want something different, you will have to become something different. You will have to see something different. You will have to show up differently. And maybe I'm just the example of that because I'm here so early. And I'm reminded of the last half marathon I ran. I ran the New York City half marathon. And I've always been a long distance runner. I love being active. I really do. And thank you for liking the live, Michael Lattimore. I appreciate it. And I signed up and I said 13.1 miles. That's nothing. That's easy. I can easily do 10 miles. What is 3 more? With pleasure, Michael. But what I was not ready for was the morning of. Because anyone who's done sports, especially group sports, there's that anxiousness before you play. There's a bit of anxiousness in every athlete, in anyone who is aiming for something. And I like to use that instead of saying I'm nervous. I can use that to propel me forward. But what I wasn't prepared for was the 38-degree cold in New York City on that morning. So even that anxiousness, Grand Rising Cigar Bazaar, yes, 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 from Chicago. Well, it's like 10, so, well, that's still morning. Yeah, yeah. What's the wind chill there in Chicago? Because I remember during January and February, I would not fly through Chicago. I was a flight attendant for 15 years. Hello, retired Elio Lawrence. Are you going live this morning? And I would always choose not to fly through Chicago, not only from the cold, but yeah, from the cold. Yes, 11 a.m. because you're on East Coast time. So just an hour before noon. And what have you pushed yourself to do today, Michael? What have you pushed yourself to do? How is today great because you showed up differently? Tell me. And I'm waiting. So I wasn't prepared for that cold. It was freezing. And it's thousands of people. And I believe we met by Central Park, by Tavern on the Green. And it's just under 40 degrees. We all have our running gear on, and you're there waiting for hours before the start. And it is that thought of, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I can go home. I can just go home and put on a jacket. And that's when I told myself, actually, I'm about to do something great. I'm going to do this half marathon and feel proud within myself for the completion. And exactly, and not only what you needed to do, what you have done. I'm the wordsmith. Let's change that word, because also need comes with a sense of the word need comes with like a sense of urgency, and changing need to what I have done means you've already done it. It's already in the past. You're telling your brain, that's what I have done today. I appreciate this message. It reinforces what I have done. So you're telling your body, I've already done it. I don't need to. There isn't this urgency because I've done it. The fact is, if you hear it and it resonates, that means it's already there. And I truly believe of speaking these uplifting words into you, because I'm right there too. This is why I speak every day. I have to reinforce myself. I've shared with the people who've came on my live all of the life events that I've grown from. Most recently, the passing of my father. Most recently, a relocation to help with my family. Most recently, continue to speak. And most recently, seeing the fruits of my labor. But any one of those could take you out. Any one of those events takes people out. The death of a loved one, the death of a parent, the need to have to relocate. Do you know how that takes people out? It takes their spirit, it takes their soul, it takes their belief in themselves, it takes their self-esteem, it takes their money, it takes relationships away, and ultimately it will take the life out of you. And the beauty is being able to say, actually, I'm using all of this to say, look at what I've lived through. Look at what I've learned. Look at how I've grown. And look at how I've just rode the wave. I'm not letting this take me out. In fact, I'm growing from it. This isn't happening to me. It's happening for me. It's happening so I can see the resilience in myself. It's happening because I can see my determination. It's happening because maybe I actually need it to be around the family. Well, overcoming regret. First, let's change those words, because the regret is looking back at something that you believe was a failure. Regret is looking back like I lost something. Something wasn't in it for me. I made the wrong decision. I didn't act accordingly. And it takes reframing whatever you're looking back at, because that regret can actually be transformed into, wow, I was just being repositioned. There's nothing for me to regret. There is no loss. It's only a gain. Look what I learned. Look at me 6 months from that event. Look at me. It's not, okay, Michael Lattimore, I'm calling you in, not calling you out. As someone who's 40 years old, you didn't make any mistakes in your 20s. You were learning lessons. The fact that you label it a mistake means that you're looking back at it with the information that you now know, saying, this is what I should have done. No, that wasn't going to happen because you didn't have the information at that time. So when you choose to reflect back knowing that the information you have now, you didn't have then. Oftentimes we're regretting because we're learning the lesson in that moment. I didn't have that information. I have it now. So when I look back and say, I should have done this, well, you didn't know. That's why it happened. I'm not using anything that cannot empower me. So what's empowering is, wow, look what I learned. And because of that, going forward, when I encounter something like that, I have more information. I have a different perspective, and I'm a different person. So that outcome won't happen. The 20s, and here's the other thing. I don't ever say I make mistakes, with pleasure, because I just know that I can work everything out, and I see life as a lesson. So really, your 20s, you're just an adolescent teenager. You're like a senior teenager. You're in the world as an adult, but you're not an adult. You're not. You're actually starting to see the world as yourself, not with the added benefit of a parent or a guardian or a teacher or a college or these things. You're just figuring it out. So the 20s are your whole life is to be figured out. And every decade it becomes a little bit clearer because you have a bit more information. But there is lessons in everything. There's lessons in everything. There is nothing that you are regretting. Change your perspective. What did I learn from that? How did I grow in that? You can even say, wow, I made some decisions. That's what I say, but I can't, unless it is empowering, I'm not saying that to myself. You get to talk to yourself. Do you know how that feels to constantly talk down to yourself? That was when you were learning the lesson in real time. And furthermore, go forward knowing that you have new information. That's it. What is your current age now? What are you currently looking towards? And sometimes we look with regret because that was 20 years ago. What you looking at 20 years ago? What you have gained in the past 20 years is the reason why you are where you are now. You haven't lost anything. You've gained knowledge. You've gained perspective. You've gained trials and tribulations. You've gained or lost friendships. There's all of that. But 20 years ago, realistically, there's nothing you can do about that now. All you can do is use the information you have now and move forward. So move forward. Looking back at your 20s does nothing. It does nothing. To empower yourself is to say, I have really grown in the past 20 years. What's up, Dash O'Neill? Did you go shopping? I've grown. Of course I've grown. Here's the other thing. I never went into my 20s thinking that I knew everything. I'm bright. I know how to problem solve. I am resourceful, but I don't go into anything thinking I have the answers. I go into everything knowing that I have what I need to find a solution. But that's it. I can always learn more. I can always grow more. We can always grow. We can always adapt. We can always change. But often that comes from your resistance to learn. Stop believing that you have all of the knowledge now. When you put that resistance up, you're putting that resistance that can stop you from receiving something more. And that is even within personal relationships. That's how you see the world. Step out of a space of this person's wrong and they should have done this, and step into a place of this person made a decision that's best for them. Oh, okay, well, you can always go back. People make decisions that are best for them, and leave it at that. Leave it at that. Make the decision that's best for you. And here's a side note. Believing that you have information that can help someone without them asking may not be the best answer. Trying to always tell someone, this is what you need to do. You should have done this. I would do this. So what? That doesn't have anything to do with them. It takes all of the energy in the world to change yourself. Forget about changing others. And take that out of your mind of, I need to be in a space to help someone navigate. Especially if they haven't asked for your assistance. This thing called life is always changing, and the only thing that I have found is the ability to adapt. Exactly. Create positive thinking daily. Release things. Is this really for me? Is this for me to put my energy into? No, it's not. Okay, I take my energy out of that. And I can change the word from energy to my thought process, my direction, my help. How can I grow in this moment instead of, man, I really mess up? No. Let me change that. How did I grow in this? How has this grown a new space of learning for me? How did this change me positively? What did I learn in this? How will this add to my life? Because that is asking yourself something positive, and you will receive that answer instead of saying, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't this work out? You're asking the wrong questions. Because if you ask, why didn't this work out? Expect to understand why it didn't work out. And that can be helpful. But there's also a space of saying, okay, how can I grow from this? What is the knowledge I need when this happens again? What is the resistance that's in me that is preventing me from growing? What do I need to learn in this moment? How am I growing in this moment? What would make me most comfortable in this moment? Show me the knowledge that is necessary for me to continue. And that could be just asking out loud. That could be in a prayer or a meditation or whatever practice. Because I believe all these practices are getting us to the same goal. So I do not restrict this to just a religious practice or spiritual practice or whatever practice. Use your selected practice, thank you for continuing to like the live, to accomplish, to be who you want to be, to get to that goal, to get a new job, to get in the relationship, to have new style, to move, to whatever. But just reframe those questions. Because a wise man told me, if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. And I remember asking myself, what knowledge do I need to acquire more finances? What resistance do I have within me that I don't see that is blocking me from accomplishing that next level of finances? Because sometimes these things are hardwired. A lot of the things that are blocking us, we have no awareness of. We have no awareness of. And for myself, for good morning, Anelka. For myself, there was a fear of being seen. And that fear of me, okay, you're excused. Go work on a project and I will be blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dash O'Neill. Appreciate you too. I'm just sharing this because, as I said, I love doing this. Maybe it's a gift. Maybe someone is helped by this. Good morning, Mackie. Thank you. I am such a queen. And what I'm putting out in the world, to me, is the goodness for what I want to feel every day. I learned this from my mother. I learned this from my father. But this, what you're hearing, is my second dream, but it's also my most fulfilling dream. I've never gone into an occupation by saying, I'm just going to the place that will get me the most amount of money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm dedicating myself to doing something every day, not only do I have to love it, it has to be something within me. This is a passion. This is something that everyone has seen me show up every day. And this passion is not without its own resistance. And to constantly show up and to see Michael Lattimore say, I appreciate you. To see Dash O'Neill say, you are so well educated. I'm learning from you. That is payment in itself. Because this took steps to get here. It's going to take steps for you to get what you want. But it takes showing up. It takes believing that you can do it. It takes taking away, for you, FXK, not for me. You speak for yourself. Do not speak your limitations onto me. There's that thing. Whenever you're in pursuit, and I'm calling you in, not calling you out, that's just your limitation. That's not mine. I don't have that limitation, and I don't have that barrier within me. Furthermore, I won't say that because my words are powerful. Our words are always building us, and it's subtle programming for yourself because the brain is only following what you say. So the moment I say that, the brain will highlight all the evidence to substantiate that as truth. I don't limit myself. My friend, I started on this journey, and the accomplishment of having my TED Talk was the reality of you're moving forward. Why the heck? Here's the other thing. Now we're really getting some motivation. You got to shut people out because I've said this many times. Most people don't believe in themselves. And when we're speaking in the context of the US, most are limited by money. Let me say this again. Most people don't believe in themselves, and most are limited by money. Meaning, if I'm passionate about this, there's no way that I can earn a living or create the lifestyle from what I'm passionate about. And this is for me. If this doesn't resonate, then it doesn't resonate. However, if you choose to trade your time for something you don't like to do, for a paycheck, what would it look like to trade your time for something you actually love to do? You have to think of it that way. You got to think of it that way, because a lot of you mofos need to understand that I believe in my power. I'm here to tell you to believe in your power, because there will be someone to tell you you can't do that. Who are you to tell me what I can't do? You're just sharing what you believe you can't do. I don't care about that. I see it, and I'll speak that love into you, that you can actually make whatever you want possible for your life possible. I don't know what it will take, but it will take more out of you than you know. But if you don't believe it, the first response is, you can't do that. Well, now I know your self-belief. Now I know your self-belief. Right? If you can get people fart in jars and sell them on platforms to make money. People here on this app write people's names in pens, in beautiful writing, and make money. Someone created this sweatshirt that I purchased. What are you talking about? You got to start changing your thoughts and stop being so limited to what you think you can do. You aren't my power, my friends. My power is in my belief. I don't even have to see the evidence. It's the fact that I believe that I can do it, that I know I will do it. That's the difference. Here's the other thing. You're talking to someone who saw a father who did this, who spoke things into existence. I would see my mother and father speak about the home that we had not lived in yet, and with the pool and with the amount of bedrooms, and speak these things into existence. And then it comes. Now, it takes work. I'm not saying say these things and it'll magically appear. It's the belief. It's changing what you say to yourself, and it's the working towards. Those three things will never have you lose if you do not give up. But I don't see that as a level of resistance for me. Let me share with you some of my accomplishments. As I said, I was always, I tested well. School is quite easy for me because I learned so much in my household. My mom and dad would say, the home is your first school. So I didn't have to go to school to learn history. I was learning it in my household. I didn't have to go to the school to teach me to love myself. I was learning that every day at the house. So regardless of what a teacher or someone on the app or anyone told to me, I was reinforced with that before I left my home. So regardless of what you say to me, I already believe in me. I'm coming on here to basically tell you, F what people say. Believe in yourself. People are lame. People don't believe in themselves. People do what's easiest, what's most comfortable, what won't allow them to be disliked by others. You're talking to someone who retired themselves and said, I will take as much time as I want to build my dream, not to get back in the workforce. I said, I'm going to retire. I moved to Hawaii. I bought my dream car. Who does that? I do. I did. And that came from the teachings of my parents and the belief that, yes, this is a game. To me, life is a mind game. Whatever you believe you can do it. You can do it. But if you don't believe you can do it, that's true too. Added benefit when you don't give up. When I chose to go into speaking, it was to inspire youth. Because especially in this country, everyone in this live, I was a flight attendant for 15 years. I lived abroad for about 7 years. I've been to over 60 countries. I've really lived the world. I haven't just seen it. I've lived it. I haven't just visited places. I've been there hundreds of times. So I know what's possible. I didn't finish college. I just have an insatiable belief in myself. I don't need your diploma to tell me what I'm able to do in life. I actually don't need your cosign to tell me what I can do in life. I give myself the stamp when I show up every day, when I believe every day, when I make those small accomplishments every day, because that's what it's going to take. It is going to take daily, deliberate efforts. It is going to take you changing how you think about yourself. It's going to take you just seeing it. I close my eyes and I see it. I don't care if it's not here right now. That's not what it's about. It's about building it for me and then having others say, whoa, if Hope can do it, what can't I do? That is the point. When my father was in the hospital before he died in December, I remember I was really ingesting all of that and sitting with the reality of my father dying. And now I'm turned 40 and my father is dying. And I said, Hope, you know what? He's accomplished his mission. Look at you. Look at you and your 4 sisters. Look at your mother. Look at the belief that you have in yourself. Look at the belief that you would retire from a dream job, being a flight attendant. Do you understand how amazing that career is? And it's more than money. It was the freedom. It was the ability that my family traveled and saw the world. It was the ability that I took my nieces and nephews to places that they've only seen in books. But that started from my father saying, I want my children to see the world, to expand. Until you do that, you are very limited. I'm not letting anyone say what I can and can't do because of my skin color, because I'm a woman, because of my hair. I don't care about all of that. That's your limitation, not mine. You got to be relentless. Relentless in life. I don't care. I had to get over the fact of being seen. There was a time when I wouldn't have even came on the app to show up because I was afraid to be seen. But I had to say, Hope, this is what you want. And this may not only change your life, but someone else's life. And how good does that feel? How good does that feel for someone to say, and someone came to me last week and said, you're incredible. And this is why I chose to show up. That's why. I'm not taking any of that BS that people want to label me with. I don't hold any label. My name is Hope. That's it. Thank you, Paper Chaser. And what's up, my fellow Central Valley person? Okay? If you see me and you say, oh, well, she's this, or she's that, or she's this color, or whatever you label me is from your perception of what I am, but it isn't what I am. Learn that. Learn that. I'm a human being. I'm an unstoppable force, and so are you. Stop saying what you can't do. You don't know what you can do. Have you tried? Have you put in a diligent effort for an extended amount of time? I'm not talking about 1 week, 2 weeks. I'm talking about a year, 2 years. Cutting out people, cutting out the noise, cutting out your self-doubt. That's what I'm talking about. That is that real change, because that change brings what you want. But it will be more than what you expect it to be. It will be one of the most challenging things in your life. And I'm saying that from experience. When I started flying, I had moved from California to DC. And the first place, I know you going for it, Paper Chaser. I'm right here with you. You better go. I don't care who is watching me. I don't care who doubts me, because there's so many people that will be uplifted by just these words. By these words. And when I had my TED Talk, I said, wow, it happened. Of course, it's always happening. It's never not going to happen, but you got to show up. You got to show up. I've questioned myself, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm showing up every day. I'm posting and I'll get a few views and I'm on YouTube and I'm slowly growing and I'm pitching and people aren't. That's a part of it. What am I going to do? Stop? No. No. Thank you, Kay. And the other thing was, I was a rebel in my TED Talk. I didn't write that. I went on the stage and felt what needed to be said. Do you know how it wasn't nerve-wracking, but it was like I'm going against the system. But I got to choose to show up as me. If I'm speaking, if my vibration, if my voice is being heard, what needs to be heard? Maybe this gift is this channel to inspire, but I have to do it authentically. What's up, Frank White? Money will come. Money will come. Money's already there. It's that belief of I'll never be paid for it. Stop it. Stop it. And if belief is something that is unwavering and has to be poured into daily. Before I come on live, before I even get out of bed, I listen to affirmations and I just uploaded my cool girl affirmations onto my Hope is Speaking YouTube page. So check that out because I am big with that. Whatever I want in the day, there's another creator, Sweet and Tempting Affirmations, I believe, makes these great affirmation tapes like you are beautiful, your eyes are beautiful, your skin is clear. I listen to that instead of turning on the news, instead of turning on the music, instead of turning on some app to tell me what won't inspire me. I got to inspire myself before I step out of my room. And that's why I'm creating this journal, because I journal every day. I journal my perfect day. I journal myself in 5 years. What I have done, the beautiful custom home I stepped out of, the accomplishments. I write it like it's already been accomplished. I'm already there. Then I do my I am statements. I am healthy. I am confident. I am healthy and flexible. I am resilient. I am open to learning. I am releasing all things that no longer serve me. I am vibrant. I am grateful for my friends and family. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate you. Thank you. And more to come. Yeah, success is that daily habit. Because if I came on here and spoke this one time and you never saw me again, is that success? Maybe. I think success is the combination of consistency and building. Because when you constantly show up, life gives it to you. And I love to journal. I do. I am all for journaling. I am all for seeing it. Now, as I said, this is constant. This isn't a one-time thing. Best TED Talk you've ever seen? Wow, Kay. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Even getting to my TED journey. So let me share this with you. With my TED journey, I had taken my early retirement in 2020 at the height of the pandemic from the airline company I was with. I knew I wanted to leave. I'd been with the airline for 15 years. I did everything I wanted to do. I felt a sense of mastery. I I don't know why people give up. I don't know. I'm always open to saying that is one reason, and it's possibly from other things. It's difficult. I understand. The grind is difficult. Showing up every day, not seeing what you want is difficult. Day after day, when people are looking like, what are they doing? Why don't they go out and get a real job? How are they able to pay their bills? It's all that. It's a mind game. And sometimes you just have to see someone else to understand that that's within you. So I had reached mastery with flying. I had actually had told my family, like, if you want to fly, get it in within the next 2 years because I'm going to leave. I never feel restricted to not leave a place of work. And I say that because I never saw my father hate his job. I was not in a household where people came home and said, I hate this job. I'm only here because of the check. I don't like doing it. What is this about? I continued to say that where was I? Right. I was talking about showing up and leaving the airline. So when I decided to leave the airline, as I said, it was the height of the pandemic. I had moved to Hawaii maybe 6 months later, and I was exactly where I wanted to be. And I'm going to take you off this live because I'm going to finish this word, and I think that this isn't the time for a additional voice. So when it comes up for me, I will disconnect from you. So what did I share? Right. So when I left, yes, I am just reading, just a minute. All right, let me. Great. Okay. Your true path was God. I did listen to it. I did listen to it because I was in Hawaii. I was in the place that I wanted to be. I was, thank you, Paper Chaser. Yeah, I've always known that though. I was always told that with my parents that jobs will replace you, and I'm okay with that. I'm the daughter of a capitalist. I'm not against any of that. Places of business are there to create money, so I understand that, and I would remember. By your speaking, I don't take that offensively at all. So when that happened, again, I was in Maui. I had started passionately choosing the things that I wanted in my life. And a year before, I had had my emergency landing, which Kay had mentioned, was the topic of my TED Talk. If you go to my link in bio or go to YouTube and just Google Hope TED Talk emergency landing, you will see. So because of that, I love you too, and thank you. And I haven't lost anything. I've only gained more. Because of that emergency landing and kind of that brush with death, I started looking at life a lot differently. If I can go at any time, any moment, I'm not going to spend one moment doing anything that I don't want to do. Yes, I did love flying. I did love living in all these cities and having the freedom to gallivant around the world. And there's more in life for me. Maybe it's time for me to speak and share these stories and share the storytelling and the lessons that I learned from those who haven't. And maybe that will inspire them. Okay, you should quiz us from what we learned. That would be so good. Go into that. Let me know exactly, clarify that so I can understand. Really, Paper Chaser? Well, then, yeah, because I'm listening to the intuition today. That's why I'm up so early. So after that emergency landing, I wrote a list. Where do I want to live? I was currently living in the New York City, New Jersey area, close to the airport. Didn't like it. Never wanted to be in New York. Yeah, I have nothing to lose. I only have things to gain. I said, let me move. What car do I want to drive? I don't want to just get a car to get around. I want the exact car. I want the exact everything. I know when I move into a place, I like new. I like new. And it happened that I moved into a home that was just redone. And it was exactly in a location that was great for me. And the person found me and we had a handshake. All of these things started coming together. And when I was in Hawaii, it was whenever I move somewhere, I don't know anyone. And I love that. And Hawaii is so freeing in the sense that I love to be outside. Then I'm going to continue to touch your heart, Paper Chaser. That was so freeing. Because most people think I would never move from London. I would never move from New York. I would never move from Paris. I would love to live there. Well, do it. That's why I did it. I don't care to do it anymore. And I don't even care to live in a major city ever again. And to add to that, I've been to every major city in the world several times. So that's a limiting thought of I would never leave if I was in London. Well, why not? There's other places in the world. And I didn't want to be there anymore. And I learned about myself. I do like warm weather. I do like to be outside. Forget going to the club. I've done that. I've been to some of these events that people, award shows and things like that. It doesn't matter. It's a gathering of people. What I thought it would bring me, it didn't bring me. And that's it. That's it. So when I made that conscious choice to be on the island, to be in the sun, to be in a place where I can hike and go to the ocean and pick my fruit, I just went for it. I let go of people. I immediately changed my number. I started saying, am I surrounded by people that are loving and uplifting and support me? No, I'm not. I'm around people that are in the same industry or in an entertainment industry or a fashion industry, but they don't actually know me. I don't actually get to be my honest self around them. And if that's the case, that's not friendship. I can let that go. Am I actually saying what I want? Am I putting up boundaries? I started to do this. And when I moved to Hawaii, the day before, a friend of mine passed away from a overdose. And it was difficult for me. And it was a beautiful space of, now I'm here, I'm in Hawaii, I can't run from grief, I can't run from the sadness. I get to stay and grow and learn what grief is. And it was one of the most beautiful moments. And from that, I just had, and you know I'm not a Pisces. Try again, Vivi. You get 2 more tries. I moved to Hawaii November 2019. And I was flying. And I knew I just was like unfulfilled with the career anymore. And it's less of If I don't want to be there, it's slowly taking something out of me because I knew there was something more for me. And it was never the sense of what else am I going to do? No, it was, what is the legacy? What is the gift? Time to step into it. And so when COVID happened, I remember my last trip was to Tahiti. And it was a great trip. It was like a 6-day trip to Tahiti, a 6-day layover in Tahiti. And no, not Capricorn. And that was my last trip. And then things started shutting down. And I was kind of happy, like, okay, well, I'm chilling because it's Hawaii. Hawaii wasn't as affected and it closed off. But when the company said, we are going to offer closed off, but when the company said, we are going to offer early outs. If you have more than 10 years of service, you have not, Vivi. That would include a generous package as well as a travel package and healthcare package. I said, okay, I'm ready. Because if I'm still there, that means I'm taking time away from someone who really wants to do this. And I don't want to put that type of energy out. I don't want to half do it. Someone really wants to fly. And I still loved it. I still liked it. But it was no longer aligned with my spirit and my soul. And I knew it. So when I chose to leave, it was one of the freeing moments when I made that decision of, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the next dream. I've already accomplished one dream. What is the next dream that I'm building? Because what I have done will be small in comparison to this dream that will really change my life in the world. And that's how I looked at it. And so I took that early out, and I believe it was July of 2020. And I gave myself a year to just live life. Because it was also during the pandemic. So it was never a rush of what am I going to do? Like there's a worldwide pandemic and I'm in Hawaii. Here's the other thing. When I thank you for the roses, when I speak of this confidence, I was the one that moved me there. I was the one that chose to be there. I was the one that bought me my dream electric car. Me. Of course, with the knowledge that I gained from my parents and from life and all of that, but this confidence comes from me. No, Gemini. That will build you. When you continuously show the things that you have built for yourself, that gives you the tenacity to build more. But you can't do it if you don't allow yourself to first think of it, dream of it, visualize it. And then allow it to come into your reality. You haven't. I know there's signs you haven't guessed. And that tenacity also comes from shutting out everyone else. Because when I say most people don't believe in themselves, I see it all the time on this app. Everything from the Victoria Monet Grammy win, when there's a lot of content creators saying, you know, it's amazing that after 15 years, what you want isn't going to come immediately. If you think you just think of something and you have this big goal and within 12 hours it's yours, maybe it does happen in that way. Maybe it does. I won't even limit it to this. But it's what you become in that journey to the goal. And take all of the emphasis off of time. You put too much emphasis on time. The fact is that it happens. It's not about how much time it took. It's the fact that I did it. It's the fact that I showed up. It's the fact that I had to transform my mind and my habits and how I show up in life. And that's what it will take. It will take more out of you, and that's the beautiful thing, because you'll begin to see yourself. Stop guessing, Vivi. It's done for the day. You will begin to see the beauty that is you, your tenacity, your vibrancy, your ability to transform and say, that's for me. It is mine. I will get it. I got it. What else can I get? I don't care what people think. People think very lowly of themselves. And furthermore, if they don't believe in themselves, why the heck would they believe in you and your goal or your dream of your transformation? Get that out of here. And I'm all for love. But someone's opinion of me is equal to a leaf falling off the tree. It means nothing. It doesn't add or take away from my life. But that's because I have true belief. You gotta believe. You have to believe. You have to believe when everything tells you no, when people tell you no, when doors are closed, when you thought it would take a year and it takes 8 years, when people are looking at you like, well, why don't you just go get a regular job? You have to believe. That's what it takes. Because the moment that you say, I give up, and I'm not going to do this, it's not for me, that is going to eat you up for the rest of your life. That's going to eat you up for the rest of your life. Yes, and not only is that prayer the belief, it's already done, Swift. You already have that peace throughout your day. If you pray for something, accept that it's already happened. Don't hope that it's happened. Don't expect it to happen. Know that it's happening. That when I say belief, this is why you're seeing me talk this early. Something was in me that said, okay, I'm going to get up and start earlier today. What hurt, Paper Chaser? What did I say? The belief is what will keep you going. And people see it. People will see you show up. People slowly see like, whoa, they are unwavering. Opportunities will come out of nowhere, but you have to believe in you and what you are doing. It may be similar to completing your bachelor's degree, and you go through, I don't want to do this, and this is lame, and I like the partying, and I meet people, but I don't want to do this, and then you finally graduate, and you're like, wow, I did it. Yeah, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't. When I say that, I believe that. Why do I care what anyone thinks? In reality, what does the belief of someone else's thought of me add to me? Whether you believe in me or you don't believe in me, both are neutral. It means nothing. And for me, it's a powerful space. Because for me to get to a space of saying, regardless of what you think of what I'm doing, I'm still doing it. And that's just it. Whether you see it for me or not, I'm doing it. And that's just it. When I say most people don't believe in themselves, just listen to how people talk. Because they always talk about their limitations. I could never do this. I could never have that amount of money. I could never move. What about my family? I don't even want to be around that. I'll walk away from that. Your lack of belief will inspire me to walk as far away from you as possible. And that journey towards what you want is for you. It's great if people are around you, but if they're not, that's okay too. That's okay too. People eventually will clap for you once you're on the biggest stages that they can see, but it's not about people being for what you want. It's for you. That's even a barrier to grow out of. Well, why don't they support me? Why? Listen, if you're looking for the support of others, you haven't learned the lesson yet. You haven't learned the lesson yet. This is about you. Life is solitary. Like, your goal is for you. If you are easily affected by the others that don't want what you see, it may be a little bit harder. And it's not really because of you. As I said, most people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. They've been torn down by life. So why do they want to support something so grand? And sometimes just your belief and your continuing to go is what another person needs to see. This isn't a negative outlook on how others look at you. This is that encouragement of continuing to go, because your continuance will encourage someone else. Your continuance will encourage you. Your continuance is the spirit of your dream. So when people say, I would never do that, of course you wouldn't. Look at you. What have you done? Where have you been? I would never travel there. You haven't traveled ever. And that's okay. I'm not even here to respond to your negativity, because if you don't aspire for much, the easiest thing is to allow people to come down to your level of aspiration. Let me say that again. If you don't aspire for much, the easiest thing is for another person to bring you down to their level of aspiration. Of course, that's a part of it, Shelley. That's a part of it. There's times where you will not have motivation. Come listen to me, or motivate yourself, or buy new lipstick, or just say, you know what, I've got this far, I'm going to keep going. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. And it's not always that you're not motivated. Sometimes it's sheerly just a long path. And expect that. There will be times when you're tired. There will be times when you want to give up. Now, don't give up. Still make those daily steps. Slow down. Do something to reward yourself, and then get back on track. Then get back on track. It doesn't matter that you have a lack of motivation. What matters is that you don't stop. That is fantastic for me to hear, Shelley. Because I'm the same way. With speaking, there's things that I've pitched and events that I've pitched at and didn't receive the answer that I want yet. I'm maniacal about that. You haven't said yes yet. You haven't said yes yet. And maybe it's not for me to ask you. Maybe it's for me to build what I need, the platform I need to build. Maybe I just need to maneuver differently. Maybe your no is just a yes in a different form. It's that too. Pushing yourself doesn't mean just get up and do it. It means, wow, I am tired. Why am I tired? Well, I've been at this for like 3 years. Okay, well then that makes sense. It's also understanding that a lot of this would make sense. I've been going live for just under a year. Just under a year. It took, 2-3 years to get my TED Talk. Me showing up every day is just sharpening my tool. It only takes one person to see your gift. Forget about, and this, I specifically want to talk to content creators. Stop thinking about views. With pleasure, paper chaser. I almost said pay-per-view. The fact that one person sees your creativity is the blessing, is the magic, is the manifestation, is the luck. That is it. Because there was always a point where you weren't going to do it, where you were afraid to do it. 200 views, if you had 200 people buy something from you, if you had 200 people in a room with you, supporting you, you would not say, oh man, there was only 200 people. You would say, wow, 200 people showed up for me. This thing called social media gets people real mixed up. 1 million is great. 10 is great. 5 is great. 1 is great. That means that one person diverted their energy to you. With everything else they could choose to put their energy in, they chose to put it into you. So don't be discouraged. If one person says, well, I don't like what you did, that's great. You've just encouraged me to show up even more. You really have to get into a space of truly loving and believing in yourself, because these mofos will put up resistance and tell you how much they don't like you. So what? I don't care if you don't like me. I like me. And if you do care that someone doesn't like you, you may not actually like yourself. There's that. This thing is tough. This thing called life is built for the people that just refuse to give up. They just refuse to give up. I know what's here for me. I know the greatness that's in me. That's why I show up every day. Every day. This is like a paid speaking event for me. For me, this is a stage. For me, this is the stages that I am speaking on. I don't see it any differently. The thing is that you're distracting yourself and saying, no one's seeing me. This isn't doing anything. How do you know? How do you know? You don't know who you have touched in this day. You don't know just by you continuing with your CNA, with your studies, with your dream, with your business, with you changing your perspective or your body or your health or your family. You don't know the ripples that that is making in the world. This is bigger than this. This is bigger than 200 views. To me, this is changing the universe. This is healing humanity. That's how I see it. So if someone doesn't like it, that's expected. I'm okay with that. I don't even hear it. And if I do hear it, great. Okay. I'm built for greatness. I don't really have the space to allow your discomfort of my greatness to affect me. Let me repeat that. I don't have the space to allow the space of your discomfort to limit my greatness. And this is for anything. This is when you're going to your job today or driving to the job today or pursuing a relationship or pursuing a better relationship with yourself. You'll have to grow into an extreme sense of, I'm doing this. I'm great at this. This is for me. I'm unstoppable. Thank you, Jose20928, for sharing the live. And thank you to getting us up to almost 10,000. Let's get up to 10. Maybe it's arrogance. I'm okay with that. Because life can be really hard. It hasn't even been 90 days since my father has passed away. It hasn't even been 90 days, let's see, even before that. going through that and seeing really the slow death of my father, and being in the ICU on my birthday, and being able to say, you know what? I'm not limiting myself and saying, man, I feel so terrible because I'm with my father in the ICU on my 40th birthday. No, I chose to say, wait a minute, Hope, you're the motivator. You're the positive person. You got to change that. That's not a negative thing. I am so proud to say I spent another birthday, my 40th birthday, my last birthday, beside my father. You see how quickly I changed that? I've already programmed myself for that. You got to be able to do that. When someone sends you some negativity or something happens, be able to switch it in your favor. That's a powerful tool. You know how powerful that was? Instead of saying, I wish I was somewhere else, why? I am so glad I had another birthday with my father. I'm so glad I am the legacy. I am so glad that this voice came from him. There is no loss. I've only gained. Start talking about how incredible you are and how incredible the things that you are building will be. Instead of saying, this is terrible, I don't want to do this. No, you got to speak better to yourself, because you will often be the only person that does. When I say most people don't believe in themselves, all you have to do is look on this app. All you have to do is look on social media, period. All you have to do is look how quickly people will want to discount someone else's success. That's a part of it. And you can use that as a motivation. And here's the other thing. The more successes you have, the more you will see that there's actually a lot of people rooting for you. There's more people rooting for your success than wanting to tear you down. But it's actually changing that focus, because there's so many people that want to see you overcome. They do. They may not say it. In fact, most of that negativity that you think you see is really just a beauty of, man, they're doing it, and I don't have the strength to try to do it. Your failures have inspired someone. Imagine that. The fact that there's something that you call a failure that has actually inspired someone, because they don't even know that it was a failure. They just saw you try at something, and it allowed them to say, man, I'm going to try. If they can do it, what can't I accomplish? So today has a really positive energy to it. It really does. And it's the ability of saying there's greatness in this day, and it's here and it's coming and I feel it. And today is great because I say it's great. And I'm going forward as the greatness that it is. And I'm showing up that way. And that's it. That's it. I'm not talking down to myself. I'm not saying that I'm a failure. I'm not saying what I should have done or what I could have done or what I wish I've done, because I'm doing it. Or I'm just going to say, I release that. That no longer serves me. I release that with love. It no longer serves me, and I've grown from it. Start speaking those words of empowerment into yourself. Because when you speak words of empowerment, you get to see yourself be empowered. Let me say that again. When you speak empowerment into yourself, you will feel empowered. You will become empowered. You will almost have this aura about you, like, whoa, what happened to her? Did she, something happened? Because she's just like, has a different pep in her. I want to be around them. That's what happens. And it will take you, it will take your words. I never point the fingers. It comes down to me. It comes down to us. It comes down to you. You are your line of defense. You are your motivation. You are the person that gets to see every success. And remember that. I did record one. I'll upload that. I'm uploading a lot onto my YouTube page, so subscribe to my YouTube. What would you like to hear me speak about on my podcast? Because I'll record another one today. And tomorrow on my live, I'm bringing another speaker who is incredible and just won another competition from Toastmasters. He's based out of the Bahamas, and he is an incredible speaker that I'm going to bring on to my live. However, shoot me a DM or tell me in the chat, what do you want to hear me talk about on my podcast? Of course, there's always these things like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll upload it today because I actually have it. I was going to edit it, but I'll just upload it. So subscribe to my YouTube. It will be under Hope is Speaking podcast because I already have the tab on my YouTube. I come on to speak because it is my gift. It is something I'm driven to do. It is something that fulfills me in so many ways. And when I see any beautiful comments, I know I'm aligned and I'm right on my path. I'm right on my path. When I did my TED Talk, it was a beautiful space of like, wow, things are going. Things are always happening in our favor, whether you see it or not. Whether you see it or not. But when I'm sharing about you empowering yourself, this truly means to be in your most powerful state by first believing in you. Believing that you're worthy to be here on this earth. Believing that you're worthy of love. Believing that you're worthy of whatever you dream of. Believing that you are a great person. Just believing that, like, I'm here for a reason. Okay, I took a screenshot of that because that may be the next one that I record today. So I will upload the first one that I made today. Actually, when I get off, I'll be uploading a lot to YouTube because after my father's death, I slowed down. But yesterday I did upload my cool girl affirmations. I have affirmations and meditations, which I love because you got to hear great things to know your greatness. And with pleasure, Kay, thank you for everything that you have shared with me. It's uplifting in every way. Because there's times where I'm like, why do I think that I can do anything with this? With me speaking, why do I show up every day? Yeah, I've done a TED Talk and I have, but why do that's when I have to say, Hope, you have no idea. Just keep going. I have to say that to myself. And I've had to encourage myself. I've had to grow into this new space for myself. But there's power in just simply believing. My father would say, things are always changing. So wherever you are now, it's not going to be forever. If you are in the worst place in the world and the worst relationship, that's okay. It'll change. And let me tell you, you can break up quickly, leave them in the dust. That's another thing I'll speak on because it's not about leaving someone in the dust. It's about being honest with yourself and another person. And I found that by not always being honest with myself or the other person and what I learned from that. But life can be magical when you allow yourself to see the magic. When you step out of the monotony of this is just my job, this is just what I do, I put on the same clothes, I'm around the same people, I eat the same things, start changing it up. Start making life like this fantastic journey. Start saying great things to yourself. because it doesn't just change. You have to make the change. When you say, well, this is a horrible relationship, but hopefully it will change, it won't. It won't. You got to change something. That means you got to change and get out of it. You got to change and speak to the person. You got to change and speak to yourself. Maybe you got to change your ways of communication, because communication isn't a skill that everyone has. It's a skill. I've been hearing this my entire life. I've been taught the art of communication. I wasn't just born with this. I practice it every single day. It's a skill. Learning to love yourself is a skill. That's not just something you know how to do. It's a skill. Realizing I don't even love myself. That opens the pathway to say, okay, what do I need to do to get back to loving myself? Because that's the most natural place to be. Thank you, Paper Chaser. Thank you, Create Sweetness, for the follow. And I love that name, Create Sweetness. I love that, because once I get off of here, I'm going to create another cup of tea and eat me some oatmeal with raisins and go and create and create and create and create. And as I shared, I'm in a new space. Yeah, I love tea. I always have a cup of tea. As I told my mom, it's like a warm hug. I'm in a different space in many ways. And I've found the beauty and the growth of being in a different space. And also saying, there's a reason for this. Sometimes you don't know the reason till after. And my father told me, nothing in life is a coincidence. Everything is perfectly placed for your life. If you believe that, know that things are working out for you. They always have been. Sometimes you just don't know exactly the whole outcome of the situation. So when I speak about loving yourself and improving your own communication with yourself and with others, and asking yourself, what do I want? What do I want out of life? And it's more than happiness, because happiness, what does that mean for you? Be specific, write it down, daydream, expand that vision. Because if you don't know what it is, I just want to be happy. Well, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Who is around you? Who isn't around you? What does your health look like when you're happy? What does your body feel like when you're happy? What does your home look like when you're happy? What does your hobbies look like when you're happy? What does your job look like when you're happy? You got to ask these things, because then you can actually start seeing, oh, that's what it looks like. That's what I want. That's it. Now I can build it. Now I can call it in. Now I can look for it. Now I can realign myself, or pray for it, or meditate, or whatever practice you have. But you won't know until you ask the questions. So ask the questions. Get back to that full divine love that is you. And this is outside of any label of gender, of race, of religion. This is about your pure human element. And I'm here to share that with you. That's why Hope is speaking. That's why I changed it to Confident Speaker. Yes, I speak, and it's mainly about confidence, because until you're confident with yourself, nothing you will see in life is for you. If you don't like yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have confidence just in you, not in what you do, not in anything that is a skill. I'm talking about just your pure human essence. That will change things. That will change things. So maybe I will start doing these early morning motivation sessions. I'm also will stream on YouTube, because I'm uploading a lot more content onto YouTube. as well as other events. I said I will announce, and I will. Uh, the the year is the year has just been yearing, and I do look like a sunflower, don't I? Somebody said I look like a dandelion. I take it both. It's a beautiful flower. Here's the other thing. Let me remind you, we're still in a period of rest. It is winter. If you don't feel inclined to make huge changes, that is okay. I didn't know you were dusty, Darren, but I don't talk to yourself like that. Yeah, beautiful and magical. This is a time of rest. Spring is really actually that time where animals come out of hibernation, plants start blooming, so it's okay. If you are talking down to yourself and saying it's February, we're 2 months in, I haven't done this, that is okay. That is okay. Allow yourself rest. We are still in a period of dormant. This is a time of just rest, possibly planning, but also sit with the fact that it will work. It will work out. And believe it. And I'm so grateful for everyone who is on this live and who has gotten this up to over 10,000 likes. This is beautiful. It's inspiring to me. As I shared, my YouTube page is Hope is Speaking. Subscribe to my YouTube. I just put up my cool girl affirmations because of Kay. I will be uploading my podcast, and I upload almost daily. And I would love anything, like shoot me a message either in the chat or DM of saying what you would like me to speak about. I'm working on commencement speeches and graduation speeches because that's what will be coming up, and that's what I will be speaking at during spring and summer. There's a lot of places where they need speakers, so that is a focus. And just being open to the beauty of life and being aware that there's so much more in store. Don't count yourself out yet. There's so much more in store. So much more in store. But not for me right now, because I'm going to go eat my oatmeal with raisins and cinnamon and brown sugar. I'm so excited because, you know, I love my oatmeal. I love my raisins. And sometimes life's joy is like in a bowl or a teacup. So this is what I do. My name is really Hope. I really have a sister named Faith and Charity. And I come here to inspire and make you laugh and talk about my travels around the world. Thank you, JB. And thank you. Ooh, aguacate, kiwi, strawberry, or fraise. In French, strawberry is fraise. I come on here and give uplifting words with whatever has come in the day. And that's what I do. I just post comments. I am leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm taking a break. I have some things that I will accomplish, and then I'll come back on later. So turn on your notifications because you know I don't have a set time. I just pop on and then pop off. However, there are some other things that I must attend to. Paper chaser. Okay? Got up early so I can be on and be off by 9:30 Pacific time. And I'm excited. I'm excited for this day. And stay ready because things are happening. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate that, and I will. I close all my lives with this. Be the reflection of love because we all come from an infinite source of love. Thank you for the follow, Bill Dalton 405. Show up. All you got to do is show up. That's it. Show up for you. Show up for your life. Show up at the gym. Show up. Show up. Just show up. But you can't do anything if you don't show up. If you don't show up at the gym, You ain't going to get the cuts. You ain't going to have the six pack. You aren't going to have the chiseled arms. You got to show up. And I like when that lady is speaking. Me too. Am I that lady? I'll take that. If I'm that lady, I like when this lady is speaking too. And finally, expect more for you. Don't count yourself out. Do you? Okay, well, I'm ready to see it. So do I. I say be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up. Show up for you. Show up for your life. Show up for your dreams. Show up for the new version of yourself. Show up. Because if you don't show up, nothing's going to happen. You have to show up. And finally, expect more for you. Expect more out of the day. Expect more out of your life. Expect more out of your dream. Expect more out of the vision of yourself. Expect more out of your goals. Whatever it is, just expect more. Stop expecting less or expecting nothing. Expect more. Thank you, Grizz Handsome. I will. What's up, Detroit, Sean? Look at you. Look at you. I know it's cold in Detroit. I remember being there in February. Woo-wee. So expect more. And expect more me speaking, because I'm going to be here, okay? Positive mind, positive life. And I'll be on later on today. In the meantime, go check out all my content at Hope is Speaking YouTube. And I love you all, okay? It's not cold. Yes, it is. It's not 70 degrees, Detroit, Sean. You saying that because you've been there too long, but it is not warm. I know that much, okay? More is good. I am more of more. I am not less of more. More is more, and more is good. So with that, enjoy the day. If you can, have some raisins. 40? Goodbye, Detroit, Sean. Come talking about it's not cold today. Unless it's 40 Celsius, but I know that's Fahrenheit. Enjoy the day. I'm out. Bye-bye.